May I just say one thing about that? First of all, completely unacceptable. Again, put yourself in the position of that child. How bewildering that must feel. Secondly, that doesn't necessarily mean that somebody hasn't thought that they've told them. But again, put yourself in the position of being a high level of stress in a situation that's bewildering for you when you're young and you've already experienced considerable emotional breakdown, and someone tries to explain something to you and then they say, all right, I've done that now. Actually, it's the sort of thing, the question I always say is, if you take your own children, how often do you tell them that you love them? If you just tell them that they're two, I love you, right, I've done that now. Actually, you have to tell them, you have to show them, you have to demonstrate it, you have to put up with them, you have to forgive them, and they have to forgive you. Over and over again, and still they doubt it. So actually, when you have a situation as you've described, I've no doubt that if I knew the specifics of that, and I went to the people who'd worked on that case, they'd say, of course I'll explain it to them, and the foster care explain it to them. And again, it's always about thinking yourself into the life and the experience of that young person as best as you can.
Thank you. Can you tell me who sits on the Children's Safeguarding Board?
Yes.
And where does it report?
Yes, I can. On the board is an independent chair who is new, but formerly it was Lynn Jones. There's a business manager that's an employee. I sit on it. The constabulary represents on it, both in terms of their specialist unit, which is not local, but also a local superintendent. They are advised by a senior officer who has responsibilities within safeguarding. The head of the youth offending services there, Paul, as head of safeguarding, and as deputy director is also there. The probation service is there, the NSPCC, CAFCAS. Please don't ask me to tell you what CAFCAS is. It's who looks after people in court, and I can never remember what it stands for. The chief executive of Connections, Cheshire and Warrington, sits there. Primary head teachers and secondary head teachers are represented. The Health Trust in all its guises, so East and Central and Eastern PCT, and others, the voluntary and community sector there, and the paediatricians from Countess and Chester, the paediatric consultants are also.
How does it report?
It reports the room to, there's a dotted line to the Children's Trust. Sometimes people put a solid line, and I say no, they should challenge the Children's Trust, they shouldn't report it. It reports to the LSP. It reports to the most strategic, local strategic partnership, the most strategic body of the council and partnership.
The police are there as well,
The police are there in large number, yes. Specialist unit and the local superintendents.
Another question as well. Can you tell me when the Corporate Parenting Board is likely to meet? We're now September. It was put in place in May. It hasn't met.
That's it.
I don't think there's a date being set, but that's why you asked the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
There will be now.
There will be now.
Thank you.
When would you like it to be?
October.
Right, October,
Can you tell me what inquiries have taken place since May in cases of children's cases that have had to have court intervention? I've worded this quite carefully.
Give me the hint.
What inquiries have taken place since May, because we only came to being in May, on cases, our case, the caseloads, or children's cases, that have had to have court intervention? I'm being careful because the camera's rolling. If the camera wasn't here, I'd be more specific.
I think you might have to be more specific, because I'm not quite sure I understand the concept of enquiries in relation to court intervention.
There have been a number of instances when children's well-being, there's been a court intervention.
Oh, right, where courts have commented, perhaps.
No, when actually there had to be court intervention due to their circumstances.
So there are currently 84 cases before the courts with regard to children who are considered big risk of significant harm. Ongoing care proceeding within the authority. Now, how many have occurred since May? I can't specifically answer that question tonight.
There have been a couple of instances when we have let those children down. Have there been any inquiries on what fail-safe mechanisms have failed?
There have been, from catching the drift, there's been a number of serious case reviews conducted in the authority. I think there are 2 have been completed, 1 is outstanding, and all of those cases have been obviously discussed with the local safeguarding children's board and have been evaluated by Ofsted. And out of those cases there are significant lessons to be learned about practice with regard to those most vulnerable children, and all those lessons, as John was saying in his introduction, really, will drive the way in which we practice in the future.
Could I ask that every Child Matters perhaps has a special meeting to look at those reports?
Absolutely, and the actions that follow from them, that's no problem at all.
Thank you. Right, going back to this report, there's a couple of recommendations. One of them is on consultation. Every Child Matters already has a consultation group who have virtual meetings to look at consultation documents. So those 3 members are already in place to have any consultation documents sent to them to comment on.